Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. It's almost spring and Old Man Winter's not done with us yet.
We've got reports of one line, it had 50 trees down, so significant damage.
Hydro One says it's now restored power to more than 162,000 customers. Plus, snow on the roof forces the Timmins Library to close until further notice while it digs out. And what has all this wintry weather meant for those living outside?
I'm so proud of how our staff handled it, the compassion that was brought through.
Go Give staff at Energy Court in Sudbury say it was all hands on deck Monday.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell.
Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. City officials in Greater Sudbury say crews have been working around the clock to clear roads since Monday's storm. In its latest update tonight, it says the current priority remains first passes on residential roads to make sure every household has at least basic access. Road widening is also underway to restore two-lane access on some streets. According to the city, due to the deep compacted snow and icy conditions, crews are relying right now on graders and loaders as opposed to plows. The mayor will be updating the media tomorrow afternoon along with the city's CAO and emergency services. Sudbury police are warning motorists today about reduced visibility due to snowbanks. In a social media post, police say motorists and pedestrians alike need to watch out for one another as the high snowbanks make it difficult to see what's coming. Adding to this, most of the city's sidewalks have not been plowed yet, leaving pedestrians to walk on the shoulder or on the road. Police are telling pedestrians to walk facing oncoming traffic, stay as close to the curb as possible, and wear bright or reflective clothing. This week's massive winter storm has led to some significant power outages, including Manitoulin Island, where some customers were still waiting to get the power and the lights to come back on. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Hydro One officials say outages started to occur around 4 a.m. on Monday.
Since then, crews have restored power to more than 162,000 customers.
She says there are still approximately 430 customers affected by 26 outages on the island, while there are a few pockets in Sudbury affecting 77 customers. She says the challenge with restoration has been getting crews to where they need to go, especially with major highway closures.
They use snowmobiles where they could and off-road equipment to start getting customers back, getting back their power on Monday. We've got reports of one line, it had 50 trees down, so significant damage. One of the other challenges that they're facing when they're working is just that trees and ice continue to come down.
As for those affected by the storm,
I've got the fireplace going. Elderly neighbor, bit of a concern next door that she's cold. It doesn't have the the generator or the propane, so we're all taking care of her. I really respect them at this time, that's for sure. They're just working so hard. And I never would complain about not having hydro because it's not anyone's fault.
And don't forget about the animals.
We have about 50 full-time animals who live on this property. Animals like horses have to constantly be grazing in order to keep themselves warm, which means that they also need access to water. So water is always our primary concern, especially during a power outage. We're very fortunate that we have multiple generators that we are using to not only be able to continue to pump water to fill the troughs, but also to keep them heated. So a lot of people might not realize that cold water can be just as dangerous as no water.
Hydro One has an outage map available on their website, which is updated every 10 minutes. Officials say the hope is to have all power restored at some point today. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Timmins Library's main branch is now closed until further notice. The city saying today the main branch on 2nd Avenue closed as of 5 p.m. because of snow accumulation on the building's roof, which requires immediate removal. The CM Shield Centennial branch in South Porcupine is still open Monday till Saturday. A reopening date for the main branch will be shared as soon as it's available. This week's extreme weather has led to some pretty difficult conditions for the homeless. CTV's Matheson went to check on one encampment at Sudbury's Energy Court.
Go Give staff members were at the Energy Court Warming Center throughout the storm.
I'm so proud of how our staff handled it. The compassion that was brought through and, just the sheer grit of everybody was incredible. And because of that, we were able to keep the center open and tend to a total of, or an average, I should say, of up to 40 individuals at a time throughout the storm.
The weather prevented some staff from getting to the warming center, but it also restricted them from leaving.
They were all supporting each other. Community was helping support some of the roles within the center, so they were taking turns trying to rest as much as they possibly could. But essentially, even with that rest, they were working very, very long hours and together supporting each other. So it was an incredible movement.
Volunteers also showed up to help community members stay warm after another cold day today.
We get together to share the hope of Jesus and the love of God, and to give snacks and hot chocolate to the homeless. And we just know that this is a struggling time, so we want to be there for them.
We can continue to use winter supplies until, we get a break in the weather and until the snow kind of disappears. So things like hand warmers, snacks, non-perishable snacks, they're always in so demand, and we're going through them quite quickly with the elements right now.
Allowing them to stay open during the storm and on a day-to-day basis.
There are a lot of people, like us that are, trying to make a difference, obviously. And it's amazing to come down here because you get to know people.
We are so grateful for that. And overall, like I said, we just felt so supported by both the city and the community. So we're really grateful for that because that translated into the work that our staff were able to do.
Matheson, CTV News, Sudbury.
In other news, one person died at Sudbury's homeless encampment last night. Police responded to the call about a sudden death around 11 p.m. Foul play is not suspected, and police are working with the coroner's office to confirm a cause of death. A murder trial is now underway in Sudbury, where a young person has been charged in connection to a brazen bar shooting. CTV's Angela Campbell has the latest from the courthouse.
The young person on trial can't be identified, but they're charged with murder in connection to an April 2023 shooting. 22-year-old Joe Cabigan was shot and killed inside Overtime Sports Bar and Grill when it was located on Notre Dame Avenue. First to take the stand was Detective Constable Mark Belanger with Greater Sudbury Police. He spoke about surveillance videos from that night as well as evidence found by investigators. According to Belanger, the videos show the shooting inside the bar when other patrons and staff were nearby. There's also exterior footage of someone running down the street afterwards. Evidence includes a discarded satchel containing a handgun found by the police canine unit several blocks from the scene. Another witness testified he'd been with the victim at the time of the shooting and describes an altercation beforehand between a group of men and the victim. Due to safety and fairness, the judge issued a temporary publication ban on the names of two witnesses set to testify. Also under that ban is the name of a second suspect who still remains at large, wanted for several offenses, including being party to murder and conspiracy to commit murder. The trial at the Sudbury Courthouse was supposed to be tried by a jury, but due to Monday's snowstorm, will now be decided by Justice Susan Stoddard. Angela Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
We're learning more about a serious house fire Monday night that happened in the community of Matheson. The Black River Matheson Fire Department was called to a home on Leslie Crescent around 5 p.m. When firefighters arrived, they noticed two cars in a garage fully engulfed, while the home behind it also had visible flames. The fire chief telling CTV News it took hours to fight the fire in that extreme weather on Monday. Damage to the property is said to be extensive, although firefighters were able to save the home next door. The chief adds there were no serious injuries. A warning from the OPP tonight to be vigilant and to watch for counterfeit bills. It comes after police received a report of a counterfeit $100 bill being used at a grocery store in Elliott Lake. Well, there's not much to go on to identify the suspect. They say there are several ways you can identify a fake note. They include real money is smooth plastic, not paper, the raised ink on the portrait, the large 100 and Bank of Canada. They add if it feels flimsy, too smooth, or layers peel, it's likely fake. A warning from Public Health Sudbury and districts. It's seeing a spike in overdoses and unexpected reactions right now. They add the cause of the increase at this stage is still unknown. Among the key information, officials with community services are reporting more complex drug poisonings involving substances that aren't responding to naloxone. In the warning, they add street drugs can be cut with a variety of substances if you take steps to reduce the risk. The North Shore Health Network is advising the closure of Thessalon's emergency department. The closure is for tomorrow and Friday. The Thessalon site's ED will reopen Saturday at 8 a.m. Sioux Area Hospital and the Blind River and Richards Landing sites will remain open. A North Bay man is facing charges in connection to a $500,000 fraud case. OPP began investigating in January this year into the theft of materials from a large industrial operation northeast of Cochrane. An internal audit revealed that over 2.5-year to 3-year period, several items were obtained through company purchasing channels and shipped offsite to North Bay. We've got more on this story on our website at CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, look at the weather warnings we have in place tonight, and a hard time you guys along the Lake Superior coastline along Highway 17 are having. And now this warning has spread to Manitoulin and North Shore, much of Algoma over the last few minutes. It is a freezing drizzle advisory in place. According to forecasters, it could build up and lead to slippery surfaces. Moving over to current conditions, we've got lots of light snow moving across the region right now, including Elliott Lake, Gore Bay, Perry Sound, seeing some drizzle into Miskaming Shores, and Wawa will have details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Here we are heading into the, halfway point of the weekend. We're doing real well in terms of our weather. We've got some warmer temperatures coming in. Yes, we have some snow and some flurries, but not near as bad as what we had earlier. So let's count our blessings in that respect. Another system moving in by about Friday with periods of snow. We'll keep a close eye on that and track it. Meanwhile, your 7-day numbers, Sudbury Nickel Belt, chance of flurries for tomorrow +1. So the temperature's warming up. Periods of snow on Friday at 2. Chance of sleet, rain or snow Saturday at 3, -1 on Sunday with the cloud cover. Some sunshine on Monday at 0. 0 once again come Tuesday with sun and cloud. Normally, you should be sitting at around +1 for this time of the year. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, chance of flurries for tomorrow +1. Sleet, so rain or snow Friday, 5 degrees. 6 on Saturday, 70% chance of sleet. Sunday and Monday, we've got sunshine both days, -1 and 1 degree your highs. Chance of flurries on Tuesday at 0. Meanwhile, in Timmins, Cochrane campus, Casing, chance of flurries tomorrow at -1. Periods of snow on Friday, +1. 3 degrees on Saturday, 70% chance of snow. -6 on Sunday, some cloud cover. Monday, sunny skies and 0. -4 Tuesday with the cloud cover. Even your evening temperatures are bearable for this time of the year. To Miskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries at 40%, +1. 1 degree on Friday, periods of snow. 70% chance of sleet. That's an excellent bet right now for Saturday. 3 degrees. -4 Sunday with the cloud. Monday, we've got sunshine and 0. -1 for Tuesday. Again, the return of the clouds. Not a bad forecast for Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Normally, you should be sitting at around +1. North Bay, West Nipissing. Chance of flurries for tomorrow, +1. +1 on Friday. Periods of snow. Chance of sleet at 70% on Saturday, +4. +1 again on Sunday, cloud cover. -1 Monday, the sunshine. Tuesday, some clouds and a -1, the normal for this time of the year, +1. Kind of like a copy and paste forecast throughout the entire Northeast for the next couple of days, leading all the way up to Monday. So Ian, cut me some slack here. We've got a little bit of precipitation moving in with flurries and some snow on Friday, but things will improve. At least the sunshine will return to the Northeast. Back to you.
I hope so. Thanks, Rick. Well, despite this recent blast of winter, there are new signs summer is just around the corner. Reservations for the MS Chichimon are now open. Now 52 years old, the majestic Big Canoe, as she's known in some circles, will set sail this year, May 1st to October 18th. The crossings between South Banff and Manitoulin Island and Tobermory typically take about 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. Last year, they marked a 1.2% increase in ridership, a 4.7% increase in vehicle traffic, and there were 887 crossings. A push for slower streets is making its way to Sudbury City Hall. CTV's Amanda Hicks explains.
Sudbury City Council is reviewing a proposal to drop the default residential speed limit from 50 kilometers per hour down to 40. Under the Ontario Highway Traffic Act, 50 is the current standard, but some residents say that's too fast for a neighborhood.
There's so many people on this earth and in this city that don't know how to drive. The speed limit at 40 kilometers an hour, I think people have got to learn to go back and get their license redone.
I just moved about a year ago, but coming from Toronto and noticing the difference, and I've seen some accidents, even a partner of mine, he was in an accident. I wouldn't mind that reduction.
It could definitely be beneficial, like even just most side roads in general. I know, 50 kilometers an hour in a residential neighborhood is definitely not necessary.
This isn't the first time the gateway speed limit concept has been pitched. A 2023 pilot project collected data on the move, but council ultimately rejected the idea last year.
The report shows that it doesn't actually work. So that's a problem. So, I hate to take $260,000 from reserves on a program that I don't think is going to help the situation.
The city would pull the money from a reserve fund built up by speed camera fines, revenue collected before the province banned the technology last year. While some see a cost, road safety advocates see safety benefits.
Speed's been proven to be one of the primary determinants in terms of collisions or significant injuries on roadways. And when we get people to slow down, fewer people are hurt or killed on the roads. It's really that simple.
An additional part of the plan involves school zones. It suggests raising the baseline limit to 40 kilometers per hour, but using flashing beacons to drop it back to 30 during school hours.
That's even more confusing to drivers, Oh, what time of day is it? Are kids in school? What speed can I go here and there?
The proposal is expected to head to the Operations Committee this Monday, and if approved, will go before City Council for a final vote. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
The drama involving Cassellholme long-term care will be front and center at a North Bay City Council meeting next week. On Tuesday, a motion is being put forth where councillors will determine whether or not they want to reject the board's request for new representation. It comes following a very public split in which the board chair said they lost confidence in two councillors sitting on the board. Both councillors argue only council has the authority to remove them. Council will also vote on a motion Tuesday calling for the chair to appear before them to explain the board's recent actions. Statues on the grounds of Queen's Park will soon be covered in protected wrapping. The move comes after a monument of George Brown was damaged at a protest earlier this month. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
The grounds of Queen's Park are home to monuments to all kinds of figures of history. Former prime ministers, longtime premiers, lieutenant governors, and fathers of Confederation. This statue of George Brown was badly damaged earlier this month. Graffiti filled with expletives directed at the premier, not entirely scrubbed away. Whatever was used was stubborn.
And so the cost was a little bit more, and it took a little bit longer than normal. It was in excess of $5,000, and that's public taxpayer money.
The vandalism came at the tail end of a student protest against changes to OSAP. The same group is planning an even bigger demonstration next week, just after MPPs return to the legislature.
So we're taking preemptive measures to prevent any damage to any graffiti on our statues on the grounds. We're going to wrap them temporarily.
That was the advice of the Sergeant-at-Arms in charge of keeping Queen's Park safe. The Speaker and the Premier say they're not trying to deter demonstrators.
Anyone who wants to protest, you come to Queen's Park, do cartwheels, jump up and down, whatever you want to do not vandalize. Do not vandalize those statues. They're historic, and if you do, you're going to get charged.
One person was charged with defacing the George Brown statue at the last protest. A second charged with assault for allegedly spitting on a police officer. One of the organizers of that rally believes that police went too far and sees steps to wrap monuments as repressive.
Students have every right to protest and to take on a multitude of forms of protest, and it feels like a measure taken to sort of, protect the space and protect capital as opposed to, allowing for dissent.
The leader of the opposition says students worried about graduating deep in debt are right to be angry.
The government could solve this problem by coming out and actually reversing the OSAP cuts. We wouldn't have a rally next week. I won't have to introduce a motion to get them to reverse the OSAP cuts.
Mbalaja says no one from the government's been willing to talk. So on Tuesday,
we're excited to be louder, we're excited to be bigger, and we're excited to be better.
The students! Hoping politicians will be forced to hear them. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. Gold medalist Megan Oldham gets a chance to reconnect with some of her friends and fans here at home on the slopes. More on that in a moment. Olympic gold medalist Megan Oldham was celebrating her recent success with fans today. CTV's Rob Cooper caught up with the Perry Sound native at Mount St. Louis Moonstone.
After flying high at the Olympics with 2 medals, including a gold, Megan Oldham landed at her home base of Mount St. Louis Moonstone today to share her success with friends and fans. Perry Sound native posed for hundreds of pictures and signed even more autographs for young skiers.
It was really cool to meet her because I've never met someone from the Olympics before.
I think honestly that's my favorite part about all this is just seeing the youth and how excited they are to come and meet me and are just getting inspired and excited watching sport. It's really cool to see that fire within the younger generation.
People lined up for their chance to get up close and personal with Oldham, who started her skiing career on these hills.
Totally. I think that's the biggest message is coming out of such a small town, driving an hour every time I want to come skiing. I think it just shows the younger kids that if they really want something like that, then they work hard towards it and it can happen.
It was really exciting and I really liked how she was really social with me, and I think it was a really exciting moment and special moment. Because
did you get to hold the medal?
Yes, I did, and it was really heavy.
After the meet and greet, many of Oldham's fans returned to the hills for a fun day during their March break.
Now, Oldham says she was thrilled to spend the day with many of her young fans, even letting many of them wear the gold medal for a moment. As for Mount St. Louis Moonstone, her home ski hill, plans are still underway to name a run or a jump in her honor. Rob Cooper, CTV News at Mount St. Louis Moonstone.
It was a battle tonight of 2 West Division heavyweights over in the OHL. Our Sioux Greyhounds facing off against the Spirit down in Saginaw. And it didn't take long for the Sioux to get on the board.
Off the body of Harper, he's jammed up to know where the puck was. Brown in front, Andrew, the open man, they score.
Jordan Sharon finding the back of the net there in the tail end of the first period. The Greyhounds would quickly respond. The Saginaw Spirit, though, however, would respond, and it'd be a night of back-and-forth hockey, including a wild third period where each team would score a pair of goals. It wouldn't be enough, however, for the Hounds. They fall 4-3 to Saginaw. A rematch is scheduled for Friday at GFL Memorial Gardens. If you've ever e-signed a document or used two-factor authorization, you have a Canadian to thank, and he's just been honored with the biggest prize in computing. Quantum pioneer and Canadian computer scientist Gilles Brassard, along with an American colleague, received the AM Turing Award, often referred to as the Nobel Prize of Computing, for their cryptography work that dates back to 1984 and formed the foundation of encryption technology used today. The pair also received a $1 million U.S. prize. The Bank of Canada is maintaining its key rate at 2.25%. The central bank says the war in the Middle East has increased volatility in global energy prices and financial markets.
The Canadian economy continues to face heightened uncertainty related to U.S. trade policy and geopolitical risks. Now the war in Iran has added a new layer of uncertainty. Its impact on the global and Canadian economies will depend on how long the conflict lasts and the extent to which it spreads across the Middle East.
The Bank of Canada will make its next interest rate decision at the end of April, and it will also put out a more detailed economic outlook for the country. Well, finally tonight, a glimmer of summer today. Despite all the snow out there, Rock on the River Music Festival in Timmins has announced its country music lineup.
happened to me.
Great song. The event is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year with multi-platinum country music star Russell Dickerson. Along with Dickerson, fans can expect 2024's CCMA Album of the Year winner Jade Eagleson, Canadian artists like Nate Haller and McKenna Givens. Rock on the River will be held July 24th and 25th at Hollinger Park in Timmins. Timmins gets all the great acts. Should be a big party this summer. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Wednesday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.